Emily Hart had always prided herself on being responsible. As a dedicated project manager at a bustling marketing firm in Chicago, she juggled deadlines, team meetings, and the demands of her personal life with remarkable finesse. Her marriage to David, a steady software engineer, had been solid for nearly a decade. They shared a modest home in a quiet suburb, weekends filled with barbecues and movie nights. Yet, beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect life, cracks were beginning to show. It was a chilly October evening when Emily found herself staring at the parking meter outside her office, realizing she had forgotten her wallet. The deadline for submitting the latest campaign proposal loomed, and she was running late for an important meeting across town. Panic set in as she considered her options. The nearest cab service she relied on was notorious for surge pricing, and with her credit card maxed out from unexpected medical bills, she knew she couldn't afford the ride. "Come on, Emily," she whispered to herself, taking a deep breath. The bustling city streets offered little solace as she decided to walk the remaining 2 miles to her meeting. Her mind raced with thoughts of disappointing her team and jeopardizing the project she'd worked so hard on. As she hurried down the sidewalk, her phone buzzed with a message from David, "Running late too. I'll see you tonight." She barely had time to respond before a sudden downpour began, forcing her to seek shelter under the awning of a nearby coffee shop. Drenched and shivering, Emily noticed a man standing beside her, also escaping the rain. He introduced himself as Marcus, a local taxi driver who had seen her predicament. "Looks like we're both stuck here," he remarked with a sympathetic smile. They exchanged small talk, finding comfort in each other's company as the rain continued to pour. As the minutes stretched into an hour, the conversation deepened. Marcus shared stories of his life on the road, the people he'd met, and the unexpected moments that came with driving through the city's ever-changing landscape. Emily found herself laughing and opening up in ways she hadn't in years. There was an undeniable chemistry between them, a spark that made her forget the stress and fatigue that had plagued her all day. Eventually, the rain subsided, and Marcus offered to give her a ride to her meeting. Grateful for the gesture, Emily accepted, despite her lingering worries about the fare. During the drive, their connection intensified, and what was meant to be a simple ride became something more intimate. As they reached her destination, Emily felt a pang of guilt mixed with exhilaration. She thanked Marcus, but the encounter had left an indelible mark on her. That night, as Emily lay beside David, she couldn't shake the thoughts of Marcus. The excitement of the evening clashed with her sense of loyalty, and the life she had built with her husband. Sleep eluded her, as she grappled with emotions she hadn't anticipated. Little did she know, this unexpected meeting was just the beginning of a journey that would challenge everything she thought she knew about love, commitment, and herself. The days that followed Emily's encounter with Marcus were a whirlwind of emotions and mounting pressures. The incident replayed in her mind like a persistent echo, each thought stirring a mixture of excitement and unease. She found herself glancing at her phone more often, hoping for another message from him, yet the professional boundaries she had maintained seemed to hold firm. At home, David remained the pillar she had always relied upon. His unwavering support and steady presence were constants in her life, yet lately, Emily felt a growing distance between them. The financial strain from the unexpected medical bills had tightened its grip, making every dollar stretch thinner and adding an undercurrent of tension to their interactions. One evening, after a particularly grueling day at work, Emily returned home to find David sitting at the kitchen table, poring over bills and financial statements. The room was dimly lit, the only sound the soft ticking of the old clock on the wall. "Hey," she greeted softly, leaning against the doorway. David looked up, offering a tired smile. "Hey yourself? Rough day?" She nodded, sinking into a chair opposite him. "Yeah, just the usual chaos at the office. And with everything else going on, it's been overwhelming." David reached across the table, squeezing her hand reassuringly. "We'll get through this, Em. We've always managed before." Emily forced a smile, appreciating his optimism but feeling the weight of their situation pressing down on her. As they discussed their budget and potential ways to alleviate their financial burdens, her thoughts kept drifting back to Marcus. The warmth of his smile, the genuine interest in her stories, it was a stark contrast to the mechanical routines of her daily life. Later that night, unable to sleep, Emily found herself scrolling through her contacts and hesitated before tapping on Marcus's number. She stared at the screen, her finger hovering uncertainly. The idea of reaching out felt both tempting and wrong, a deviation from the life she had carefully constructed. Finally, she put her phone down, choosing instead to lie awake, staring at the ceiling. The room was silent except for the occasional distant sounds of the city outside. Guilt gnawed at her, but so did a yearning for something more, something different. The next morning brought no respite. Emily awoke with a lingering sense of restlessness, her mind still tangled in thoughts of Marcus. At breakfast, David mentioned a potential promotion that could alleviate some of their financial strain, but the conversation felt hollow to her. She nodded and offered words of encouragement, but her heart wasn't fully present. As the weeks progressed, Emily's interactions with Marcus became more frequent. They would often cross paths unexpectedly, sharing brief conversations that left her both exhilarated and conflicted. Each encounter chipped away at the boundaries she had set, making her question the stability of her marriage and the path she was on. One crisp November afternoon, Emily found herself in a familiar coffee shop, the same one where she had first met Marcus during the rainstorm. She sat alone, sipping her latte, her thoughts a tangled mess. The door swung open, and Marcus walked in, his presence immediately noticeable. He approached her table with a warm smile. "Mind if I join you?" he asked, pulling out a chair. Emily hesitated for a moment before nodding. "Sure." They talked about everything and nothing, her work, his driving stories, the changing seasons. There was an ease to their conversation that made her feel alive in a way she hadn't in years. As the afternoon sun cast a golden hue over the room, Emily felt a connection that was both comforting and dangerously alluring. As they parted ways, Marcus offered to help her with a ride to a meeting she had scheduled. Grateful yet apprehensive, Emily accepted. The ride was short, but the silence between them was charged with unspoken feelings. When they reached her destination, Marcus turned to her, his eyes searching hers. "Take care, Emily. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out." She watched him drive away, her mind racing. The line between right and wrong blurred, and Emily stood at a crossroads, unsure of which path to take. The life she had built with David was secure, but the promise of something new beckoned enticingly. As she walked into her meeting, she couldn't shake the feeling that her choices in the coming days would irrevocably change the course of her life. The following weeks were a delicate dance for Emily, balancing her responsibilities at work, her strained financial situation, and the burgeoning feelings she harbored for Marcus. Each day felt like walking a tightrope, with the potential for disaster lurking beneath every step. At work, Emily's performance remained impeccable, a testament to her dedication and resilience. However, the stress of managing the budget crisis at home began to seep into her professional life. She found herself snapping at colleagues over minor issues and losing sleep over impending deadlines. David noticed the change, his concern growing with each passing day. "Is everything okay, Em?" he asked one evening as they sat together after dinner. Emily forced a laugh, shaking her head. "Just stressed, I guess. Work has been insane, and the bills aren't getting any easier." David reached out, pulling her into a comforting embrace. "We're in this together. Let me know how I can help." Her gratitude was genuine, but underneath lay a turmoil she couldn't fully express. The thought of Marcus lingered in her mind, a reminder of the excitement and connection she felt during their encounters. It was a dangerous allure, one that threatened to unravel the fabric of her carefully maintained life. One night, after a particularly tense argument with David about their finances, Emily reached for her phone, her fingers trembling as she dialed Marcus's number. The phone rang twice before he answered. "Hey, Emily. Everything okay?" She hesitated, then let the words spill out. "I don't know. I've been feeling so overwhelmed lately, and I just needed someone to talk to." There was a pause before Marcus replied. "I'm sorry you're going through this. If you need to vent or just want some company, I'm here." Emily felt a surge of relief mixed with guilt. "Thanks, Marcus. I appreciate it." They talked for hours, sharing their frustrations and fears. For the first time, Emily allowed herself to be vulnerable, finding solace in Marcus's understanding and empathy. It was a stark contrast to the stoic support she felt she had to offer David, whose own stresses mirrored her own. As their conversations deepened, so did their connection. Emily began to anticipate their interactions, the thought of seeing Marcus bringing a spark of joy to her otherwise monotonous days. Yet, with each passing moment, the consequences of her actions weighed heavier on her conscience. One weekend, unable to resist the pull any longer, Emily arranged to meet Marcus outside his taxi. They walked through the park, the crisp autumn leaves crunching under their feet. The conversation flowed effortlessly, laughter and shared stories bridging the gap between two souls searching for something more. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the horizon, Marcus stopped and turned to face her. "Emily, I know this might sound forward, but I really enjoy spending time with you." She felt her heart race, torn between the comfort of her marriage and the undeniable chemistry with Marcus. "I enjoy it too, Marcus. More than I expected." Their eyes met, and in that moment, the world seemed to stand still. The decision lay before her, clear yet impossible to make. Emily knew that whatever choice she made, it would forever alter the course of her life and the lives of those she loved. Back at home, Emily lay awake, staring at the ceiling as dawn approached. The weight of her impending decision pressed down on her, the lines between right and wrong blurred by emotions too complex to untangle. She thought of David, his unwavering support, and the life they had built together. But she also thought of Marcus, the excitement and connection that pulled at her heartstrings. As the first light of morning seeped into the room, Emily made a silent vow to herself. Whatever path she chose, she would face it with honesty and courage, understanding that the choices she made today would define her tomorrow. The weeks that followed Emily's heartfelt vow were a testament to her inner strength and determination. Every day, she woke with a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that the choices she made would shape her future. The crossroads she had once stood at now demanded a clear direction, and Emily was ready to face the consequences of her actions. One crisp December morning, Emily sat at the kitchen table, sipping her coffee and watching the snow begin to blanket the quiet suburb. David entered the room, his presence a comforting constant amidst the turmoil of recent months. He approached her with a gentle smile, unaware of the weight she was carrying. "Morning, Em," he greeted softly. "Big day today?" Emily took a deep breath, meeting his eyes with a mixture of resolve and vulnerability. "Yes, David. I need to talk to you about something important." David set his coffee down, sensing the seriousness in her tone. He reached out, taking her hand in his. "Of course. What's on your mind?" She paused, gathering her thoughts. The honesty she sought to embrace had always been a cornerstone of their relationship, and now it was time to uphold that principle, no matter how painful. "These past few months have been incredibly tough," Emily began, her voice steady despite the nerves fluttering in her chest. "Financial stress has taken a toll on both of us, and I've been struggling to keep everything together." David listened intently, his expression a blend of concern and understanding. "We've always managed to get through tough times together. What are you thinking?" Emily took another deep breath, the words finally finding their way. "I met someone, Marcus. At first, it was just a chance encounter, but it turned into something more. I never intended for it to happen, but it did, and I need to be honest with you." David's face softened, though a flicker of pain crossed his eyes. "I appreciate your honesty, Emily. This must have been difficult for you to bring up." Tears welled in her eyes as she continued. "I care about you deeply, David. Our life together means everything to me, but I felt so lost and alone. Marcus made me feel seen and appreciated in ways I hadn't in a long time. It was a mistake, and I regret letting it happen." Silence enveloped the room as David processed her confession. Emily feared the worst, the possibility of losing the life they had built together hanging in the balance. But instead of anger or resentment, David exuded a quiet strength. "I'm glad you told me, Emily," he said softly. "It takes a lot of courage to admit something like this. We've always been honest with each other, and I believe we can work through this together." Relief washed over her, mingling with the lingering sadness of her betrayal. "What can I do to make things right?" David squeezed her hand reassuringly. "First, we need to communicate openly about what each of us needs. Let's consider seeking counseling to help us navigate these feelings and rebuild our trust." Emily nodded, grateful for his understanding. "I want that too. I want us to be stronger, to find our way back to each other. In the weeks that followed, Emily and David embarked on a journey of healing. Therapy sessions provided a safe space to express their fears, frustrations, and hopes. They revisited the foundations of their relationship, rediscovering the love and respect that had initially drawn them together. Marcus, upon learning of Emily's decision to prioritize her marriage, respected her choice and withdrew from her life. Their brief affair remained a poignant chapter in her past, a lesson in vulnerability and the importance of communication. As the new year approached, Emily felt a renewed sense of commitment and optimism. The financial challenges they faced were still present, but together, they approached them with a united front. Emily explored new opportunities at work, leveraging her skills to secure a promotion that would alleviate some of their burdens. David continued to support her, his unwavering presence a source of strength. One snowy evening, as Emily and David sat by the fireplace, the warmth of the flames reflecting in their eyes, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. They had weathered the storm, emerging stronger and more connected than before. "Thank you for believing in us," Emily whispered, leaning into David's embrace. He kissed the top of her head, his voice filled with love. "We're a team, Em. Always have been, always will be." In that moment, Emily realized that true strength lay not in avoiding mistakes, but in facing them with honesty and resilience. Their journey had been fraught with challenges, but it had also reaffirmed the depth of their love and the unbreakable bond they shared. As the snow continued to fall outside, blanketing the world in a serene silence, Emily and David looked forward to a future built on trust, understanding, and unwavering support. The shadows of the past had given way to the light of a new beginning, a testament to the power of forgiveness and the enduring nature of true love. Months turned into years, and Emily and David's relationship flourished with the lessons learned from their trials. Their home, once a refuge from the chaos of the world, became a sanctuary of love and mutual respect. The financial hurdles they had overcome served as a reminder of their resilience and the strength of their partnership. Emily thrived in her career, her promotion bringing not only financial stability but also a sense of achievement and fulfillment. David's dedication to his work remained steadfast, but he always made time for Emily, cherishing the moments they shared together. One spring afternoon, as flowers began to bloom and the air filled with the promise of new beginnings, Emily and David stood together in their garden, reflecting on their journey. The challenges they had faced had deepened their connection, teaching them the value of patience, communication, and unwavering support. "Remember when everything felt so uncertain?" Emily mused, her eyes meeting David's with a smile. David nodded, his expression warm. "Yes, but look at us now. We've built something beautiful from the ashes of our struggles." They held each other close, the past no longer a source of pain but a foundation upon which they had built their enduring love. As the sun set, casting a golden glow over their blossoming garden, Emily felt a profound sense of peace. She had navigated the crossroads of her life, emerging stronger and more certain of what truly mattered. Their story was one of redemption and renewal, a testament to the human spirit's capacity for growth and the enduring power of love. Together, Emily and David faced the future with hope and confidence, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would overcome them side by side. And so, under the canopy of a star-studded sky, they embraced the promise of a new dawn, united in their commitment to each other and the life they had chosen to build together.